Greetings collectors and welcome to episode 6 of this special 6-part mini-series of Clock Tower. So far we've covered the chronological releases, pricing, Clock Tower, The First Fear, Clock Tower 2, The Door of Fear, Ghost Head and Clock Tower 3. If you've missed any of the earlier episodes of the series so far, I highly recommend going back to watch those first. Don't worry, I'll be here waiting for you. So here we are once more, looking at the Clock Tower series. By this point in time, the Clock Tower series has become a mashup of confusing titles, chronological curiosities and bizarre plot twists. After fewer sales than expected of Clock Tower 3, Capcom set about developing Clock Tower 4. It was a move that took an unexpected turn of events, and it ended up as a game we now know today in the UK and US as Haunting Ground, and a game called Demento in Japan. The key elements of the game, including stealth to avoid enemies, were still there, although this time the added element of a companion dog was added. At some point in the development, it became clear that what had started as a Clock Tower game had now strayed far enough from the source material to become its own entity. Haunting Ground had been born. Our protagonist Fiona wakes up in a castle dungeon after being involved in a car accident. After befriending her dog Huey, she sets out to explore the castle and escape. The opening scenes already suggest elements of what is to come, as a rather large mentally challenged enemy called Debilitus stalks her. One of the legacy features from Clock Tower is the panic mode, as well as the ability to hide from enemies. What sets Haunting Ground apart though are the interactions with Huey. You will have to build up a relationship with the dog in order to issue commands and survive. It's a really nice feature. Frustrating at times, but overall something just a little bit different to enjoy about the series. In terms of plot, I won't spoil anything here, but I was pleasantly surprised. There was good build-up, mystery, larger reveals, and of course some entertaining voice acting. This is the UK edition of Haunting Ground. The game comes with a fully illustrated front cover, back cover, and a very suitable manual. Overall though, nothing too out of the ordinary for a PS2 release. For a UK copy of the game, expect to pay around £15 and £25 for the Japanese release known as Demento. In the US, be prepared to pay anywhere up to the $80 mark. Haunting Ground came as a surprise hit in the US with horror fans, and this has inflated the price ever since. Clock Tower may not have any more official releases as a series, but Haunting Ground is an excellent offshoot of what began as a relatively obscure point-and-click horror game back in 1995. My advice would be to see this one as a standalone game and enjoy it for what it is. Sadly, it's not the grand rebirth of Scissorman that many had hoped for. However, it is a really solid horror title and well worth the investment. After watching this mini-series, you may be interested to know what's happening next in the world of Clock Tower. Well, we didn't have to wait long. The much anticipated NightCry, also known as Project Scissors, has been released. Officially this is not a Clock Tower game, it's more of a fan dedication with the support of a Kickstarter campaign. It's back to the first 3D Clock Tower mechanics and general feel. The parts of the game I've seen I've enjoyed, and I'm pleased that there's a community looking to continue with this style of game. I haven't personally got round to playing this title yet. So far it's been receiving mixed reviews, but I will leave you, the viewers, to go and check this one out.
Good for you, Rooney. Your wish is gonna come true now. You can join a world of no worries.
As for collecting the main Clock Tower series, I'd like to add some final thoughts. Although difficult to collect due to the pricing, availability and just downright confusion of the game titles, the Clock Tower series really is something distinct for horror game collectors to track down. I've found researching the Clock Tower series interesting for a number of reasons. In one sense, it's sad that the Clock Tower brand seems to almost have been mismanaged over the years. The inconsistent titles, change in developer, and availability by region have all undoubtedly hindered initial take-up of the series by gamers. Particularly here in the UK, we're in the ridiculous situation of having just 2 official Clock Tower games. Clock Tower, which is actually a sequel, and Clock Tower 3. It's no wonder that in this part of the world you really have to go out of your way to get into the series. I'm hoping that this mini-series has helped get you started on your journey into the world of Clock Tower though. There's so much more detail about the history and development of the games, I sadly couldn't include it all in this short series. I hope that you appreciate the general overview though. Anyone interested in the Clock Tower franchise will have great fun exploring its history. I've personally enjoyed hunting down the Japanese exclusives and still hope one day to round off my collection with a boxed Super Famicom version should the price ever become realistically affordable. In terms of the best entries in the series, I'd have to go with the first Fear and also Clock Tower on the PS1. Overall, I feel that these 2 titles best embodied what the series means. They cover Jennifer's storyline, the initial Scissorman legend, the hiding and panic mechanics, puzzle solving, as well as an engaging plot. As is so often the case, some of these key elements were either lost or diluted in some of the later games. As a spin-off, it's definitely worth tracking down Haunting Ground on the PS2. It manages to embody what was threatening about the first games while switching up the gameplay enough to create something new. It's the reason I've included it in this mini-series, and I see it as Capcom's way of redeeming Clock Tower 3. I'd also like to thank you, the viewer, for sticking with me on this mini-series. I appreciate that a 6-part special is quite a bit to watch, so I'm very pleased that you've been able to make the journey with me. I'd really like to get your feedback in the comments section what you think about the Clock Tower series. Your highs and lows of the series, as well as your opinions on how best to collect this labyrinth of a gaming epic. Are you sticking just with your region, or reaching out to collect the Japanese editions as well? Happy haunted collecting whichever region you're in, and thank you for enjoying the series.
One after another, the horrifying murders continue. Who will make it through this game of murder alive? Clock Tower.
Hello again, I hope you enjoyed today's show and thank you for the view. Remember, you can always comment, like, subscribe and find us on the social media sites below. Happy collecting!